How you guys like being in Nashville again?
Oh, it's good to be home. I consider this a home, like home on the range. Yeah, it's good. It's good. We didn't think we would see it again, so we're happy to be back. With our anime brothers and sisters. Feels good.
Bigger and better than the last time we came out.
Certain parts of us are bigger and better as well. So we are, excited to share that with the people tonight. Yes. Yes, I had to get reductions eventually speaking. But yes, it's good. We're excited to be here.
Okay, so on our podcast, we always start with what we're geeking on. So what are the things that you guys are geeking on right now?
I don't know. Our drummer Noodles was geeking on something in his bedroom before we came downstairs, so that's why we had to leave in a rush. So, but, we're just geeking on... What are you geeking on?
Geeking on?
Is that like getting your geek on?
Yeah, like what things are you into right now? Like geek-related things.
He's just getting into the Instagram photos. He's always showing us the pictures of his egg roll and things that we don't want to see, but he likes to put the fancy filter on it, so it makes it look.
He said it's art.
He says it's art, but trying to make it look bigger with the filter doesn't work.
He take really close-up picture and try to make us guess.
Right.
He's always in touch. It's like, is that the tree? Oh, some pubic hair.
Surprise!
It's like a scanning electron microscope. You ever see that? They take that. So that's how you need one of those to see what he's got out there. And then it looks like, geek on that, motherfucker.
Did he put the pictures on like his Christmas cards or anything?
Yes, for his bar mitzvah.
Birthday.
Yes. I'm glad we're talking about this, friend.
It's
Just
important.
on the laptop. Wallpaper.
Yes.
His Facebook profile picture.
Right. That's why it always gets cancelled. Yeah, they always have to say so.
Have you ever thought about asking him to stop?
It's we'd like to, but I feel like Chris Henshin is going to at some point. You have to learn the hard way when they say, "Why don't you have a seat?" How the cookies? Like the Mike's Hard Lemonade? Right?
So, you guys started out doing like mainly gangster rap, and now the Heavy Ghetto album has more band, like more rock and roll band. What caused the shift in sound?
I think, the prior albums were more strictly produced in the studio without really live instruments. But since we started playing live, we always incorporated the full band into our sound. It was really with the Heavy Ghetto album that we wanted to reflect that in our recordings.
And also, with hip-hop music in general, it has a tendency to be very redundant, repetitive. You get one album that's going to sound exactly like the next one, So what we want to do, we really don't want to repeat what we did before, and we want to try to grow and do something different, but still, retain some of our own style. I feel like it's really easy to do the same thing we did before, so there's no point in doing that. So to keep it interesting for us, we want to, change up the menu sometimes. Sometimes you want some nuggets, sometimes you want a Big Mac, and so you're gonna get the original recipe. No. But it's important, I think. If we're going to make more music from here on out, it's not going to sound the same as what we've heard already. So I feel like, for the audience, I think it's always better to keep them guessing what you're going to do next. It keeps things fresh and it keeps you interesting. I think as an artist, if you're always going to be changing, you don't want them to be able to predict what you're going to do. I think once they can do that, then it's done, back and go, right?
Absolutely.
Right?
Yes.
So as you do progressively different, or as your sound progresses, do you know ahead of time like what way you want to go, or is it just kind of happen? You think, oh, that sounded good, we're going to do that.
I think it's more organic, where as time progresses, a lot of these songs, even playing them live, you hear new things that come out with them that may influence the new songs that we write and how we want to record them. So it continues to evolve, like, listening to some of these songs again, if I was to recreate it, it may sound different.
It can change, and you can have a different answer depending on what day you ask. One day you might ask me, you're listening to a certain style of music, you say, I want my music to sound like this. But then the next day you can hear something else and you may be influenced by that. It's hard to predict. It's like when you're trying to drop a deuce, you have an idea of how, this is going to be a big one, right? This is going to hurt, right? And then you sit there for an hour and all this come out as this little tiny shit, right? That's how the music is sometimes. You don't know. Sometimes
it just come right out of you.
Yeah, sometimes it's just boom, no wipe, good, you're up and ready to go. So it's hard to predict, and I feel like you should not try to predict what you're going to do, because that's sometimes when you start, you can paint yourself into a corner.
Do you find more often that what influences you when it's stuff that you try out in the studio, or more stuff that when you're doing it live? Which seems to have the bigger influence on where you head?
A lot of the music starts off, production driven, in the studio. So sometimes playing things live, we discover new things, but by then we've already recorded it, and it's, But that's why we sometimes like to test out new songs, play them through. But mostly it's very production driven.
So we'll often go through many versions of the same song, with different production style.
Yeah, some of these songs on this one has like 10 different mixes to it. It's a lot for us. And after a while, you can't tell the difference between one and the other, but there's something that you feel it when it's close.
What would you say is your favorite song on the album, each of you?
I like Grandmaster.
I like Red Tonight, and I like Grandmaster. I don't like Schoolhouse. And yes, I like Beef Street too. Beef Street's fun. Are you guys coming tonight? 10 o'clock?
Yes, of course.
Some of you hesitate. I feel like you're nodding, but you're not.
I might be lying.
It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. We could be. No, it's good. But Beef Street is fun. Those are my favorites.
I'll say maybe Chinese jeans, because it's unlike, I think, it has a unique vibe. It's kind of old school, kind of 70s karaoke, acid, some poison sauce.
I don't know. Okay, acid, poison sauce. Try it sometime. Next question. Keep it coming. Come on. All right. What you got?
So, how did Put on Bomb come about being in the group?
Well, I just, found the ad in the paper and threw it up. Just call me back.
He was originally the drummer for the group also.
Oh, okay.
We brought him in after other member was no longer here. And he was playing the drums, and then we eventually asked him to step up to the mic, It's not easy, but yeah. So he's a very accomplished drummer. You get to see some. If you're coming tonight, you get to see him. He's gonna do a duo with our drummer. Yes.
Percussion, duet, and drum. Yeah.
I think there's also something that a lot of people don't realize, that we're actually musicians, and they get so caught up in the production, the concept, and the looks. Our hard fucking asses, they
Yeah, they can't see past that.
I know it's but they forget that we actually take the music very seriously. We take what we do very seriously.
So we have a lot of other strengths. I mean, this guy, is does a lot of design on the websites, we see on the internet. This guy is an engineer, also does computer things. So.
Yeah, it's a lot of what you see is a lot. We try to keep it all in house, so it's it's a lot of bands do that nowadays. I think you have to, but we really do a lot of that. We don't really advertise, openly. But yes.
So what instruments do you other two play since you're not the drummer?
Well, I play some bass and piano. And,
I do most of the production, but I also play guitar, piano, classically trained singer.
Skin flute.
so a lot of times when we're laying down the music, it's us just laying it down, and then when we want to
Beef it up.
add a little sazon, add a little flavor, we bring in the other musicians to season.
It's it's a running joke that the drummer doesn't get any respect. Did things change when you went from drummer to?
Oh yeah.
Did they treat you different?
No, we still don't give him respect.
Oh, good. Okay.
No, maybe they got more jealous because I was getting more ass than they were, and seems to continue to this day.
He means ass. When he says ass, it's donkey. So he's the
Whatever you
right
do,
here. Yes.
Everybody's got their
He's
thing.
getting a lot of ass.
You don't talk back.
But don't spook them because they kick.
Right.
You like that?
I learned a couple times.
Do you think you guys are going to make some more Schoolhouse episodes?
Yeah, we are. Yes, it's a lot of work because we shoot those ourselves too,
Yeah.
and it's we shoot and they can do all that right now. So we're playing out. We do have some plans. We've already shot a new intro for the Schoolhouse actually, so we're putting out some
We want
ideas.
to revisit the concept and maybe bring something new to it, because it's been a while since we went to the Schoolhouse in the world.
Yeah, and so that seems to be a very popular question. People ask that a lot. You have people on doing YouTube videos and stuff to come out with something every week. And for us, we like to maybe hold back, and when we put something out, we want it to be, I think, something special. It feels more special, that way. So, yes, special. It's going to be good.
Okay. What musicians or albums are you listening to now?
It's a lot of different. I like a lot of electronic music. Some of the French electronic music that seems more exciting to me. I think that's where the most exciting things are happening. I think is in electronic music. Rock music is good. I have nothing against. I grew up, loving that.
I feel like it will go in cycles.
It goes in cycles, and I feel like there's a mix of the two is where it's exciting to me. Like some of the stuff by like Kavinsky or Justice, and stuff where they're merging the old and the new. Some of the mashup stuff, even some of the girl talk mashup stuff he does is great. And, I'm open to it all, but for me, electronic music is where it's at right now. It's still growing. It excites me, right? And looking forward to the new Jonas Brothers.
Yeah, Nick.
Right.
It's my boy.
It's on Broadway.
Right.
Who would you say are your biggest musical influences?
Ray Aiken, Adam Lambert, Celine Dion.
I would say a lot of older. I like a lot of Brit pop, synth pop bands from the 80s actually. Depeche Mode, Moby, Erasure. Even. But then there's groups like Lionel Richie, Hall & Oates, I like the pop song too. So those guys got into the singing and metal.
I kind of find myself drawn more towards like the older, black soul kind of icons, like, whether it's like Peter Tosh, or Who's the Wailers, or like Ray Charles, because they were such strong personalities, and they had so much just feeling what they did, and so much conviction what they did. I think on that.
I don't know. I always gravitate towards bands that have a very strong, like, unique identity. Whether it's their music is original as well, but also the whole package that they have. Like a band like the Sex Pistols, or a band like the Ramones or Motley Crue, or you have like Metallica. Early Metallica. Things that they really not only define music, but it's also the style, image. For me, it goes. I like and AC/DC was a big one for me.
So they had a lot of fire on this group you mentioned,
Yes.
Like, especially when they were younger. I mean,
Yeah.
you see like a group like Metallica over the years, they get big and they have to keep going.
Right.
These big, major
But
labels.
there's something that in the early stages that they have this spark, and also like maybe even Kiss is it's completely commercialized and like ridiculous as they can be now. But early on, there was something they were always commercialized. I don't think they ever tried to hide that, but there was something very special about them. First came out. It's a new concept. It's a new idea. I like always the merging of if you can create a full circle with your music and your image and the universe that you create. For me, that's what draws me in. So the darkness is really cool. People that create a universe around themselves. So, I mean, there's a lot more. I just can't think of them right now. It's just Devo. I love Devo. It's one of my favorite bands. So, yeah.
Do you think, looking back on the work you've done, do you see it as every new project you've done has been better than the last, and also, do you think you've done your best work yet, or do you think you're going to keep getting better?
I definitely think we've evolved, and I'm more pleased with our more recent work versus our early work.
Yeah.
But I think we still have some ideas in us.
I feel like if you're going to be an artist, a musician, or anything, you can never say that you've done your best work, because otherwise, why fucking do it? Really, you can never say that about yourself. You always have to try to do better. But yeah, that being said, I'm a little embarrassed about my first album. If I don't like it, I wish I could, being honest, it's. But you need to do those things to kind of get to where you are now. And sometimes you cannot just do it in the safety of your own home. It's only by going out there, putting it out there, where you test yourself and you get to see, how it really holds up. And you also time is a very important, litmus paper to gives you a little objectivity to your work. Over time your work can be exposed as incredible or completely derivative and redundant, whatever. But it's those factors. But for me, over time, some of our more recent stuff feels stronger. After repeated listening, it's still completely hated. So it's a good sign.
I know you guys get a lot of shit for, your concept and everything. What's been probably the biggest hurdle you've had to cross, given your concept?
What is the shit that you think?
Like, I know you guys had a YouTube video where you were banned from a festival from performing.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was for, I think we were making some comments about Canadian women's vaginal region passage. We compared it to maple syrup. So some comment like that. Wasn't exactly family
I don't think that was a reaction to the content necessarily our image. It was more like just the.
I think it's just in between the language that maybe sometimes it can get a little bit salty.
People don't always realize that they may speak in a rather explicit fashion at times. So they may not, the audiences may not be ready for what is going to come out.
Well, come on, go look on YouTube.
I know,
See,
you think so, but some people
what happened
they
there?
speak on,
Yeah.
we look so cute and cuddly.
I know.
Tough.
Canada hasn't gotten YouTube yet, so that's probably why they weren't aware.
No, but yeah, I think some people don't understand us.
What was that your question?
It's kind of how, like, there's been some criticism on MSG for pushing negative stereotypes.
Yeah, that is a very good question. I do realize the fine line that we tread in this band. And I was telling Hernan earlier, that it's something that, race is, its stereotypes are a social construct, created by, whatever culture and media, in America, it's all these stereotypes put on us at an early age, and a lot of people, we end up buying into it, we end up subscribing to it. And what's happened, with Asians, they tend to look down on other, we have a social hierarchy in each race, right? And I'm sure it goes across the board from Asians, Latinos, black people, and, so on and so on. So with MSG, what we want to do is kind of acknowledge that this is happening and try to perhaps find a different way of looking at these stereotypes. We have MSG is something we predominantly see in the Chinese kitchens, and as a result. And with these negative Western stereotypes, Asians become very self-conscious about the Chinese accent or the people that grow up in the kitchens. Their own parents sometimes, they get embarrassed. So what we want to do is try to find a way to re-examine these stereotypes. Why is it that we feel this way? Is it, do we genuinely feel, like we want to distance ourselves from that? Because I don't think we should, it's something that we're conditioned to feel. So what we're doing, it's not, I don't necessarily say this is the answer, but I think this is how we are exploring it.
It's all commentary.
Yeah, it's a reaction to that. So that's a long answer. Wait.
Good answer.
Thank you.
So then, in a way, you're sort of forcing people to examine their own
Prejudices.
Yes.
And prejudices, and we are very proud of who we are and how we express ourselves. We are very unapologetic in that sense. And we feel like people, just because we may talk a certain way or look a certain way, people should not immediately jump to conclusions about your character.
Yeah, like when people say like, "Oh, these guys are portraying the stereotypes or whatever," they're really looking at this band on the surface, very superficial level, and it definitely shows me something about their intelligence, because if you're just going to look at something from that surface, you're not going to really get any understanding, And I think that happens too much, And it's also, we have a polarizing reaction to some Asians. Some Asian people really love it. They feel empowered by it. Other people get embarrassed, they get, shamed, and they feel like we're taking it back, It's, I think, a reflection of who is watching it, what's inside them, their reaction.
Comfortable with themselves.
It depends, Like I said, this is not necessarily the answer, but this is how we respond. Being an Asian in America, this is our expression, and this is how we are going to kind of challenge popular thought, So
Hopefully we can be, heroes for some people out there, maybe other Asian people, because I think we all agree that we look around and you don't see Asian face, male Asian, heroes.
Jeremy.
Well, you got Jeremy. Okay.
So we're done. We should
Right.
But it's about that defying convention. Seeing Jeremy living like an Asian basketball player was something completely new and different. Just as seeing 3 Asian immigrants coming and rocking your ass off, it's not something you expect to see. And perhaps we can challenge what people expect to see from a certain type of person.
Have y'all gotten to perform in Asia, and how did they respond to it if you have?
We might be going. Well, we have inquiries from Taiwan to go play there, but it's not. Nothing has been firmed up. I probably shouldn't even tell you yet, but it's.
We have got some of our songs in some television program or films in Asia, but as far as performing there, we haven't had the opportunity as of yet. And because our songs are all in English, so there may be some, and they speak to Asian or an American experience. So there may be parts of expression that is lost in translation, even to our Asian audiences. However, from our Asian fans that we've encountered, they all take something away from what we do, whether it's our lyrical content or characters.
This band is sort of like a musical compound chicken, General Tso's chicken. It's considered Chinese, but it has a very Western influence. Really, because you can't go to China and get General Tso's chicken. But it's something that this band is a direct result of us, being here in America and absorbing a lot of influence and spitting it back out in our own way. So
General Tso's is delicious.
Oh, it's great.
The way
My favorite.
As your sound evolves, have you lost any fans, or do they pretty well stick with you as your sound changes?
I don't know.
We haven't received any criticism about really this music.
I think we're losing more fans by not doing more schoolhouse than we are not music. I think that's what people ask us most about. But
Our fans have stuck with us through our musical changes.
we may not have a ton of fans, but the ones we do is weird because we have ones that have been around for years and years.
I started with the first album.
Oh, really? Really? It's the first album?
First album? No, wait. First album isn't Lunch Money, is it?
No.
No. They're in my
You
iTunes.
had
But that's good. Lunch Money came out in 07. That's for a while already. So
Well, that was the first one I heard, and then I
Yeah.
found out that there was more before that.
yeah, you don't need to listen to the ones before that. I'm glad you started with Lunch Money. But it's see, like Lauren, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know. We feel lucky that for some reason people decide to stick around, especially nowadays where people can. There's so much music coming at you and so
You
many.
listen to one song,
So many diversions.
and then you move on to the next artist or the next song.
Exactly. It's so
I don't know
disposable.
who I'm listening to.
We feel lucky that people years later will still come back to us and say, it's still. That's what makes us feel like maybe we're doing something different, that's worthwhile. So, thank you, Lauren. So for you,
That was actually technically my husband and mine's first date was y'all's MTAC concert 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
MTAC Ninja. Yes, see, that's what we do. We get people, the mood, right? Glad. And, yes.
More questions. We have more time in here than I expected.
Okay. This and I'd say this could surprise some people, but you guys are really fucking deep. How did you get so deep?
I don't
Philosophically,
know if you should need to use that language. Yes.
it's German for really.
Yes.
So really deep.
Really.
Isn't there somewhere in Austria named Fucking? There's a town. I'm serious. You should look it up. It's a place called Fucking. And I think it's in Austria. But we
It's a life
it's like
experience.
fucking Confucius over here. It's a musical fortune cookie on your ass every day. you open it up, you don't know what you're gonna get, but it's gonna give you your lucky numbers. You're gonna learn some deep shit. You know, some songs are deeper than others. Some songs don't mean anything, you know, but it's,
We try to, put a little bit of what we are. This is not just, we're not trying to please anybody but ourselves, really. And we truly are trying to express how we feel in the songs that we write.
it's a very masturbatory songwriting. It's pleasuring ourselves only. And, yeah. But I think what people connect with, for me, I think is sometimes the emotion of the song. Sometimes you won't necessarily connect with the lyrics of your song. You hear sometimes, but sometimes it could be the emotion that it conveys. I think we always want to keep that intact. So people can understand something. Yeah, they feel it. That's why we call ourselves, rap and punk combined. Because there is this element of punk rock to what we do. We're sort of very do-it-yourself, very kind of against the grain kind of thought process. If we definitely try to stay away from trends. We're aware of the trends, but we don't want to just jump on them
For the sake of,
So no dubstep album.
I'm not saying I don't like it. I do like listening to it, but I don't want to just do it because it's the hot shit right now. I'm gonna drop some, wall-to-wall club bangers on the next album. I don't want to do that just because that's what it's going to sell. People will know. You'll know. I will know. And so it's not the approach that I'm trying to take. It's not to say I'm against doing it when it feels right. Don't just do it because that's what everybody else is doing. And everybody says that. I'm the one to follow the trend, but you see a lot of people that do it. They don't realize it. Just do what feels best.
Unless, the chick.
Right. And we were playing with the Black Eyed Peas.
Right.
Do you have any dream collaborations? People you would love to work with?
I like to Gorillas. I like Gorillas a lot. Yeah, I like what David Albert does. It's very creative, musically. Very interesting. He doesn't seem like he follows trends either. It's the kind of music that he plays a lot, but it still feels current. He would like to collaborate with Shakira, horizontal position, I believe. Right?
Sideways.
Yes. Yeah. Wants to show her his jalapeno, right?
Yeah. Putting a swing at home. Me and Kira.
Andre 3000, I like his style,
Danger Mouse.
right? Scrooge McDuck. Yes. He-Man. I'd like to have He-Man drop a verse or two, Right? He's got the power of Grayskull behind him. Come on, how can you deny that?
Maybe get Gallagher in the studio booth and vocal booth.
So where would you like to see MSG 5-10 years from now?
I don't know. 5-10 years from now, I think it'd be very scary. But I don't know, it's hard to say. I don't know. Those questions always throw me off because I don't see that far in the future.
I'm hoping we will have a couple more albums under our belt at that point.
Right.
Whether or not we're still doing music, who knows? One day.
Might have a few extra inches of fat under our belt as well. 5-10 years. Won't have the amps anymore.
We'll be right back in the next MTAC, but bigger and better.
Right. Yeah.
What would you like to develop a Saturday morning cartoon based around Notorious MSG? And if
Like
so, what would
the MC Hammer one, the Hammer Man. Remember when MC Hammer had his Hammer Man?
Did he have magic shoes?
Hammer Man.
You guys could have magic shoes? It'd be awesome.
Right. If it could be as good as Hammer Man, yes. Get the same animators, you know. Right. And we'll just call it Hammer Man. Let's just do that.
Yeah.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Or would you have PSAs at the end, like G.I. Joe and those did?
Yes, definitely. You want to teach the kids not to, play on the ice, which was one way to fall in the ice.
How to train the ball.
Right. Yes, I remember. It's important.
So, at what age did you guys immigrate to America?
It
And
was just before our teens.
Yes, it was around 1990.
was it harder being younger? Would you have rather been older to immigrate?
I don't think so. I think being exposed to the language and the culture at an earlier age, let some more of the American culture sink in. I think if we came older,
You'd be so, you're so ingrained
you're
in
more
your
in
habits.
the old world rather than, a mix. It's easier to get stuck in or, steam with the immigrant culture where you came from rather than being able to integrate and really have a branding.
It's like taking off your clothes and jumping out in the snow. That's too much of a shock. You want to kind of strip down to your undies a little in the house, cool down, put some ice cubes, rub them on your lips, start to acclimate, then you get in the snow. I mean, that's how I do it. So, I take it you agree.
Is there any musician or group that you'd like to get into a celebrity feud with?
Fucking Maury Povich always, beat that motherfucker down, He really, after a current affair, he just went, downhill. He didn't keep it true to the roots, to the hood. So, yeah. I got beef with Maury.
And he married Connie Chung too.
I know, but he did pretty good for himself. We're dating ourselves a little bit. We're kind of making some old references, but yeah. Yeah. No, he's a pimp in that department. More. Yeah. He's got to work on his program.
So have you guys already started work on another album, or are you just...
We have actually a few songs that we started working on. Oh, that is a weak-ass ringtone. That's embarrassing, man.
So your mom? Your mom's outside.
That's the soundtrack to his coitus. Yeah, we have some songs coming up. It's still trying to figure out when they're going to sit. Sometimes we take a long time working on it. We're gonna try to release an EP next, not do a full album. Hopefully it will come out in the next half year or so.
We got some videos in the works for another track when you get home.
Yeah, probably Grandmaster. So, yeah. There's more in the menu.
We have time for a couple more. Got about 10 minutes.
Let's make it differently. Who would win in a fight between you and Superman?
Superman. Okay.
Didn't even think about it though. You could strategize or something.
No, he's pretty strong. He could also, he could go back in time by flying around the world in the opposite direction. So how do you fuck with that? Yeah, yeah. How did you think that answer would go?
So you guys have been doing a lot of touring. What's a really bizarre or funny story you have from your tours?
One time in the tour van, a drummer, I think he shit his pants in, so he had to roll the windows down. There was no place to stop. So he just kind of hotboxed us in there for a while, you know. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if it wasn't funny at the time. You know.
With the vacuum out the whole back seat.
It was, yeah.
So lost.
I don't know, we're hoping to have more memories today in MTAC. So feel free to help us with that, contribute, yes.
Have you had any, especially like weird or creepy experiences with fans?
Yeah, no, the house there.
Yeah, no, yeah, we don't want, there's sometimes, you know, I think they have good intentions. But sometimes they start, you know,
It's a little attached.
yeah, they do get a little attached. It's not always in a healthy way. Borderline stalker stuff. You know, it's okay. Nothing restraining order won't fix.
So who would you say does more of the lyric writing, or is it a combination of all three of you?
This guy does most of the lyrics.
Yeah,
A lot of
the lyrics. And then if there's any fine tuning, sometimes we'll go over together and see if we find a better rhythm. But in general, I lay down the lyrics for everybody and do it that way. You like the lyrics?
Yes.
Okay.
There's been a lot of comparison from the people I show y'all to Death Clock,
Really?
where the music is very serious and very legit, but the lyrics are funny.
Right. Yes.
But the definite quality is still there.
Yeah, we like to definitely take our music seriously. When people do recognize that. I'm glad some people can see that. I think the tendency is for people to just look at it and look us into it, just write it off as simple novelty. Yeah, you know, but you know, we're a joke band, but we're a good joke. Joke that is funnier each time. It's like that fart joke that never gets old. So yeah, we're gonna do it until the smell is gone.
Do you prefer to play in front of like a hometown crowd, or do you prefer to play in front of like would you prefer to play in front of an audience that either didn't know you or just barely knew you?
I think playing to new audiences is fun. I prefer that. It's a little more challenging because you don't know what to expect. So there's that anticipation. I don't know how they're going to react.
I think generally, as long as they're open, like I think we found with we did like Fort Worth, for example, years back. Those were kind of like local, you know, New Jersey,
Yes.
Long Island, but you know, like younger crowd, like 14, 15-year-old, very responsive in a positive way. But you know, like in New York City, for example, like people are very kind of set in their ways, and they're very judgmental. They don't, you know, it's very difficult for them to have a hard time. It's very hard for them to have a good time, to just, you know, be loose and enjoy themselves. You know.
What I like to do is my best. I like to convert people who want to hate us, you know, and they come out loving us, because the bands I end up loving are the bands I want to hate. You know, I come in there, I'm like, you know, oh, these people suck, you know, sit there, you know. And then you come on within a few seconds, you're like, you look at your friend, you see that look, and that's when they fucking have them, you know? Then when they look at their friends, you know, that's when you know you have them, and those are the ones that stay with you, you know? I mean, if you can take somebody who was not ready, did not want to like you, you change them, and you stay with them forever. As opposed to somebody who's like, yeah, he's okay, really good, you know, they don't feel one either way. It's for me, that's the most rewarding, is taking somebody and turning them. So,
What was the last band that you guys went in wanting to hate and ended up liking?
Thank you. It's probably local bands more so, because I don't go to too many concerts. If I go to spend money on the concerts, usually for something that I like. Or an opening act that you see that you don't really You know, do you know the Death Set? They're good. You know, sometimes when people are all jumping on things, you know, and I'm not saying with them, but it becomes trendy. You know, I have a tendency to pull away from things that become too trendy. Say, my instinct is to not want to like those bands. You know? Say everybody is so fucking up Skrillex's ass right now. You know, it's always the point where I'm like, okay, fuck that shit. You know, but then I listen to some of it, it's not so bad, you know, and it's like I kind of want to hate it, but because it's so popular, but it, you know, you can't help but acknowledge that there's some cool sounds going on, cool things going on there, or, you know, let's say, sleigh bells or something that's cool, really like hipster music, but it's interesting, different, you know, so it's usually like that, bands that you're really not expecting that will win you over. It's good. You're surprised because you grow as a person, you know, as a result of it. And you expand your boundaries. So.
Is there anywhere you haven't played yet that you really are just dying to play?
The ballroom upstairs?
No. Dying to get up there. There's a lot of places. They've just begun, yes.
England? Australia? Japan?
McDonald's. I like to do a set at McDonald's. I'm serious.
With the ball game?
Nice. Yeah. Like have grimace, like crowd surfing.
Yeah, burger come
Slam
out, the ball
dancing.
game.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, last question. Favorite movie?
Warriors. Come out to play, yay.
I would say Apocalypse Now.
Warriors big influence on this, I mean, at least for me, this band. If you look at, there's a lot of Warriors reference. If you know the song Warlord, that song is written about the Warriors. If you hear the middle part, because you're not hearing that, okay, just let it go. So, yes.
Yeah, I think that's time for us.
Okay.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Hope to see you all there tonight.